Trials Rising is one of the hardest games I've ever tried to platinum. That might sound surprising, but trying to make jumps like these right here or drive up walls like these right here are just a few of the obstacles to overcome for this platinum. This is no ordinary motorcycle racing game. This is a physics game focusing heavily on balancing your rider. You're able to lean forward or lean backwards, which is extremely important to navigate through difficult obstacles. And navigating these obstacles correctly is necessary to earn a gold medal time. Something I had to always keep in mind while playing this game because of this trophy here requiring me to earn a gold medal on every track. The race league consists of the hardest tracks in the game, but before we get to that, I had to improve my skills. By utilizing the leaning mechanic, you're able to pull off cool tricks like this for a trophy where you're required to wheelie for 100 meters, except I didn't even have the skills to do this correctly. Even though I failed this challenge several times, I learned how to keep the wheelie going further on each attempt, which made it that much more satisfying when I finally achieved it.
Yes! Unicycle, that was pretty cool. 100-meter wheelie, that's not bad, okay.
And of course, the opposite of a wheelie is an endo. I had to hold one of these for 10 seconds for another trophy, and I thought it would be a lot harder than the wheelie, but I actually got it done pretty easily. There's a ton of other cool tricks that I had to learn in order to complete the race league tracks as well, but we'll get back to those. Instead, we'll talk about moments where you're not supposed to lean at all. This allows you to drive much faster and make it over wider gaps. This concept of not leaning was really hard for me to grasp at first. I even had to complete an entire track without leaning at all. If I accidentally touched the left stick even once during the run, I had to restart, which basically foreshadowed the difficulty of this game to come.
Start over.
You see, the entire premise of Trials is to shift your rider's position on your bike, so if you don't lean at all, it's virtually impossible to beat most tracks. And by now, I completed a handful of levels which gave me a good feel for the game.
Yeah.
I went back to the first track to attempt beating it without leaning. That did not go well.
Oh, I needed to speed up there.
All these hills and jumps require a bit of leaning and adjustments while airborne in order to land safely. Not an option for me right now.
Bro, is this even possible?
Many painful attempts later, and with the help of stream chat, I found this track which actually had way more airtime than the last one, surprisingly, but at least now I could land these jumps by slowing down.
The end is in sight.
Don't think for 1 second I had it easy now.
No, it's right there. I didn't die. Yes.
Afterwards, I kept playing through the career tracks, which got progressively harder, keeping in mind that I was trying to earn as many gold medals as possible to reduce cleanup time later. Every level's challenge felt fresh with its unique theme, whether it was Stonehenge, or the pyramids in Egypt, or even Mount Everest. In fact, this Everest level is actually where I feel like my skills took a turn for the better.
Bruh.
Okay, maybe not. I was still terrible, but this level is the one that made me realize I really suck at this game, and if I wanted to earn the platinum, I had to go to school. Literally. The game actually has something called the University of Trials. These are special levels designed to teach you how to get over different obstacles. Each level is designed to teach you a new trick, and it gets more difficult as you go. You're even given a grade depending on how far you make it in the track using the new trick you just learned, and you might have guessed by now that I need to beat every level with a grade of A+ for a trophy. Boy, was this a rude awakening. Here's an example of a university level becoming pretty insane. I had to try over and over and learn how to gain speed uphill over a jump and land on my front wheel before shifting back to my back wheel. Sometimes I hit a checkpoint before crashing, which was okay because I still get to advance, but since there's multiple jumps, sometimes I'd get stuck just when I thought I made it.
No way, no way, I was there.
These levels really are about perseverance and never giving up. Oh, and having a lot of patience to fail over and over helps a lot.
No, so close.
Especially when the end is in sight. Believe me, these fails here are really the most painful ones. The stream chat knows. A few minutes later, I finally was able to make the final jump.
Yeah, I'm bouncing off that platform too hard, I think. It's hard to get the right amount. Yes! Yo, that was insane.
And it only got harder from there because this next one felt like that one course in college that made you want to drop out. You know the one. This one really had me questioning my life choices. See that number up top next to the timer that casually says 37 minutes? That's the number of faults or otherwise crashes I've had in this one single attempt. This obstacle is called consecutive bunny hops, and I was just suffering through it over and over before learning a fun fact. Every level in Trials allows a maximum of 500 faults or 30 real-life minutes. If you don't finish a track before that, you lose all your progress and you have to start over, forcing you to redo all those difficult jumps just to make it back to this point again. And that right there is the look of someone really contemplating giving up. I was literally speechless when the timer ran out. Words honestly couldn't describe the pain I felt having to restart that track. I actually had to restart it several times until days later when I was playing late one night and finally developed the skills to pass it. I went on a roll after that, completing this one here, which taught me if I tapped the acceleration button ever so slightly, I could throttle just enough to stay grounded on these inclined obstacles. Crazy stuff, but very important for the Race League tracks later. And we're good! Figured it out. Let's go. I even learned how to do an endo into a back wheel bunny hop, accelerating just enough to land on my front wheel before shifting my weight back to my back wheel. And yes, that was just as crazy as it sounds. Oh my goodness, that was smooth. Let's go. Finally, this led to probably the worst class of all. It doesn't look too bad, but the timing is the hardest thing to do. I had to bounce off my back wheel on each of these crates to earn my A+. This one took several attempts.
So glad to see you stick with it until you got that A+.
Let's go! Let's go, man! The final exam for the university was a time trial which consisted of a series of small but very sharp jumps. If you overshot these by going too fast, you'd actually go way too slow because of how much time you'd spend in air. I can't even describe how good it felt to earn this trophy here. Go! Okay. Yes! Master's degree. That's so hard. Let's go! With graduation out of the way, the first thing I did was go back to Everest, which I happened to fly through with all my new skills. The gold medal here was seemingly impossible before I spent all that grueling time in class. I continued earning gold medals and also took care of all the miscellaneous trophies in the game. There were quite a few that aren't too bad at all. In fact, a lot of them are pretty fun. There's a trophy for 7 flips at once. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Land it! Yes! Feeling dizzy. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. There's another trophy for all collectibles hidden throughout each track. And there's one in particular that happens to be the only co-op trophy in the game. You see, there's different bikes available to choose for each track. Each bike has its own strengths, such as being super light or accelerating faster than others. But there's one bike that requires 2 riders instead of 1. And I had to use this bike with another rider to beat the Stonehenge track with 0 faults. Now, I had heard this was possible to do solo, and since I'm stupid, I decided to try it. So I sorta stacked 2 controllers and used multiple fingers on each hand to hit the right trigger and the left analog stick on both controllers. For this bike, if you don't accelerate or if you don't lean with both riders, then you really can't make each jump. That means driving up slopes very carefully, leaning forward at just the right time, and even braking with both riders at the same time. On this attempt, I didn't brake enough and I tried leaning my way back, but it wasn't possible, and since it had to be 0 faults, I had to restart. And of course, I had trouble getting back to the same spot, crashing multiple times along the way at the earlier checkpoints. This hurts my hand. I have to readjust my hand every few seconds. But finally, driving real carefully, I hit the brakes together and I made this checkpoint. And look at what happens with these next 2 jumps. Oh, I thought we were stuck. Now, this level honestly isn't too hard considering the time I spent learning the tricks in this game, but the hand cramping from holding 2 controllers was seriously uncomfortable, which is what made this challenge not only harder, but that much more stupid. After making it past those jumps, I slowly made my way past the next few checkpoints before the unthinkable happened. No! I'm still alive. I'm running over his body? That's crazy.
Sir, can you move out the way so I can like try to beat this?
Yeah, to no one's surprise, I wasn't able to save that run. But here's my next attempt.
Not too fast, not too slow, not too fast, not too slow, not too fast, not too slow. Speed up! I think I did it, I think I did it, I think I did it, I think I did it.
Thankfully, me being stupid managed to pay off in the end.
2 is better than 1. Oh my goodness! That is my wrist hurts.
Now it's almost time to take on the Race League Extreme levels. But remember when I told you I needed to earn gold on every track? Well, you might have noticed there's actually 2 tiers above gold, platinum, and diamond. And of course, there's a trophy for the first time you earn each one of them. I still felt like I needed to test my skills and prove myself by earning both these trophies. And there was no better way to do just that than the skills games. These are another collection of special tracks that will test your skills. Except most of these skills aren't really useful and they don't really apply anywhere else, so just like before, it's kind of like I'm back in school again. We've got a mini game where I need to bounce my rider off explosive barrels, another one where I literally have to dunk a basketball, and even a level where I'm on fire and need to keep my speed up or else I lose. Also on our agenda is driving over tackle dummies. Yeah, very random, I know. And it doesn't stop there. I had to master a rodeo track which just completely randomly throws you in different directions. So by master this track, I really just mean get lucky enough to not fall off very quickly. And despite all these wonky tracks, it was still the best place to prove I can earn platinum and diamond medals. I tried first on this hill climbing skills game, which is one of the few that does actually test your skills. I had quite a bit of trouble at first, so this one required a couple hours worth of attempts. The bike I'm using here is called the Helium, which is a BMX bike that's super light, allowing you to get more airtime. And without the Helium, I would have taken double the time to get used to this track and earn at least gold. Oh, that's right, I said I'm going for platinum and diamond, but did you really think I didn't need at least gold on every one of these tracks? There's really just 2 skills games in total that make this trophy hard, one being the hill climb that I finally achieved here, and the other one being this awful track called Loose Screw. This godforsaken track requires you to wheelie the entire time. There are safe spots that you can stop at for a quick break, but for the most part your front wheel cannot touch the ground. Quickly decided that this and hill climb would not be where I earned my platinum and diamond medals. That'll come up very soon though, don't worry. And this level ended up being one of the few times where I really did feel like rage quitting, but I had to remind myself of how much time I already put into the platinum just to quit now.
Bro, this is ridiculous.
But then I came across my savior. I'd like to introduce you to this little guy here known as Donkey. He might be undersized, but he packs a punch and is my last hope of beating this god-awful track with a gold medal. Let me explain. You see, this bike here allows you to lean so far back that you're riding on the back fender and won't fall. Now, technically this isn't a wheelie, but the track actually doesn't require you to wheelie. You just can't let your front wheel touch the ground. There was one slight problem with this master plan though. The final stretch of the track just before you earn the gold medal has a pretty difficult set of jumps. So after getting upright in this safe zone here, I had to utilize my skills to jump with enough speed to bounce off my back wheel, and yeah, that didn't work out. And just like with every other challenge in this game, I kinda just had to spend more time getting back to this point before failing miserably and exploding. Many attempts later, this happened. Yeah, I was so stressed that I was muted for my reaction, but trust me when I say I was so happy to finally be done with this track. And with that trophy out of the way, I still had to worry about the platinum and diamond, which is where this track here comes into play. This is the one track that the entire community sort of agrees on is the easiest place to earn a diamond medal in the entire game. How it works is you don't actually accelerate your bike. You instead use boosts that slowly deplete your meter every time you use it. So it forces you to manage your boost wisely and actually just utilize momentum to get as far as you can on each boost.
We're gonna finish. Let's go. Oh no, too shiny. That's my diamond medal. Let's go. It doesn't show up on the bar right there, so that was throwing me off, but we got it.
And now it's time for the hardest challenge Trials has to offer, the Race League. I've been building up to this point and all my skills developed so far are absolutely crucial. Every one of these tracks has some portions that are devastating. I pretty much spent 2 to 3 hours on each track alone just to get the jumps down so I could go for the gold medal. They're especially painful because any tiny mistake on any of these jumps could ruin your entire run. Like this one right here at the end of the track. Screwing this up on a good attempt would be an awful run killer. And speaking of a good run, right here is a good example. Except I was pretty lucky that I had enough time to spare at the end that a few mishaps didn't actually finish me.
I didn't flap. Let's go! Let's go! Come on, man! Let's go!
Felt like I was improving with every track I completed, making the next one a bit easier. Like this track here is one I got done sorta quickly one late night when I definitely should have been sleeping. I surprised myself a little bit because this final barrel bounce is pretty heartbreaking if you don't get it first try. And now I'm back to using the helium. My goal right now actually isn't speed, it's to complete an extreme track without faulting a single time. This trophy is evil incarnate. This one had me stressed for days. I streamed myself attempting this trophy over multiple days and it was just full of heartbreak. Sometimes I'd crash right in the beginning, other times I'd get pretty far into the track. The tackle dummies make a return here and I gotta say they are the worst obstacle in the game. These things annoyed me to no end. Again, one of the few times I wanted to rage quit.
Nope. Bruh.
Bro. So imagine what it felt like when I finally did get past this awful thing just for this to happen.
Let's go! Let's go. Bro.
Naturally, when I did get to the next portion, I had to take a breather. But luckily for me, the ending of this level looks tough, but it's actually pretty easy. This was the final home stretch for what's quite possibly my toughest challenge yet. And then...
honestly, this last one's pretty easy. We almost made it. That was on purpose, by the way. Still painful to do that though, but...
So in addition to beating this track perfectly, I also had to make it to the end and crash just before winning for a separate trophy. Whoever decided to create these two trophies like this deserves to stub their toe in a dark room.
Oh, that was... oh my... what? Are you serious? You can't handle a little head tap? Really? Hey, let's go. Let's do this. Let's do this.
The worst part is that it took me days to get back to that point. Crashing on the same obstacles for days really does get to your head, believe me. Remember when I said the end of this track was really easy? As usual, I ended up biting my words.
I'm gonna sit down. Because I can't stand what just happened.
Again, having to attempt dozens more runs until I got back here and was more careful this time, but then this happened.
No! No, that was the last checkpoint.
Literally days later, it happened again, and I was so tired of it that I barely reacted now. But I was addicted to the game, so I was playing on my lunch break and surprisingly...
Let's go! Let's go! I had the game volume muted. I don't care. That took so long.
Now this leads us to the hardest track in the game called Inferno 5, or Inferno V as I like to call it. Every single jump in this track is brutal, bar none. The full run from my first attempt all the way to the gold took about 3 hours. 3 hours of struggling and a lot of it due to this jump right here near the beginning of the track. You have to drive off at the right angle with enough speed to bounce off your back wheel and over the pipe. This one checkpoint is what I practiced the most. After hours passing by and losing my mind a little bit, my blood, sweat, and tears kinda made this look easy. Starting with the first two jumps, which are insane in their own right, I had to bounce off of a barrel and then two pipes, then ride up another log and make it over this height right here. Somehow, after many heartbreaking attempts, I got this jump right here on the first try, which is when I knew I had the platinum in my sights. A couple checkpoints later is another run killer. These two tires are underratedly hard. I got lucky on this attempt, but I promise you I have probably over 40 fails just here alone. The steep incline you land on isn't too bad for a graduate of Trials University like me, so we ride up and keep it moving. And then keep an eye on the time here because my goal was roughly 7 minutes and 15 seconds for the gold medal. I had plenty of time for this final 90-degree wall climb, but my heart was racing and I was so nervous, which is pretty obvious judging by how many faults I had. I even rode my way up to the top and then choked. I recollected myself and went a bit slower before landing on my back wheel. I was really getting nervous now because of the time, and honestly, I don't know how I did this right here. Yes! Let's go! Oh my goodness, my heart is beating. How did I messed up at the end twice? But not so fast. There's one trophy left. Doing everything up to now unlocks ninja tracks, which are literally obstacle courses. You start off with a white belt difficulty and work your way up to black belt. Now, thankfully, I only needed to beat one. And that's the best part. I just have to beat it and not earn the gold medal. These tracks are absolutely absurd. I did this right after playing Inferno V and actually on the same stream, so I really was burnt out. Easy. However, I just couldn't end without earning the platinum that day. So 40 minutes later, here I was killing this track before this last obstacle of the entire video. I need a little more. Oh my God! Let's go! Finally, we did it! We did it! If I could have the chat right now on the screen, I should have done that. That would have been cool. This is awesome. Like all the love you guys are showing, that's awesome. Oh, we did it! It felt so good to beat a hard game and earn the platinum trophy. If you want to see another video like this one where I earned another hard platinum, click on the screen here. Trust me guys, you're gonna want to see this one.